Hello, my name is Trevor, and I'm one of the reference librarians here at the Saratoga Springs Public Library. Welcome to part one of a two-part tutorial on using the Value Line Investment Research Database made available to you from home with your Saratoga Springs Public Library library card. Value Line is a prime resource for financial and investment research and has existed since 1931. Interesting fact, although people talk about the great market crash of 1929, 1931 was actually the worst year on record. Value Line's founder, Arnold Bernard, in the midst of the economic turmoil, realized that the current method of analyzing stocks was pretty inadequate and set out to change this in hopes of helping to bring some greater stability to the market for years to come. So Value Line is a pretty powerful tool. It contains the same information that's available to both professional and retail investors. Retail investors, that's us, you and me. For some users, Value Line's information is used to complement guidance given to them by their financial professionals. And for others, it's given them the confidence to make their own independent investment decisions. And so with that said, here's the necessary disclaimer. The information presented here is for informational purposes only and is in no way to be considered financial, accounting, investment, or any other kind of advice. We are not your financial professionals. And with that, let's get started. Value Line covers pretty much every available investment option that's out there. Stocks, mutual funds, and exchange-traded funds, otherwise known as ETFs. It's available in print here at the library, as well as in this online resource. Before we take a tour, first, let's get some fundamental information out of the way. Every Friday at noon, Value Line publishes about 120 to 130 stock reports. These reports run on a 13-week cycle, meaning if you saw a new report this Friday for, say, General Motors, a new report wouldn't appear for another 13 weeks. Should there be some kind of change, like a merger or an acquisition or a Value Line rankings, we'll get into that. The online version will be updated immediately. A supplement with this information is also issued in print, but there's an obvious delay with the information having to be sent to print, then mailed to subscribers. So we're talking a couple of weeks. All right, so we're ready to get on to Value Line. First, go to our website, www.sspl.org. Click on Research. Scroll down to Business, clicking to expand the selection, and we'll continue to scroll down until we see Value Line. Go ahead and click that. Okay, from home, there will be another screen that's going to pop up. It's going to ask you for your Saratoga Springs library card number. Keep in mind, you must be a Saratoga Springs card holder to access Value Line from home. Okay, so we are on the landing page, or as they say in Value Line world, this is the dashboard. First thing we see is a market daily update. It's a snapshot of what to look for the day's trading session. And then below, you see some back issues from previous days' trading sessions. I'd like to direct your attention here to the right side of the screen to this quick links box. This is often a first stop for Value Line users. You'll see that some of the links are in blue while others are grayed out. The blue links are clickable, while the gray ones indicate that we do not have access to those areas of the database. Simply put, there are different subscriptions available to different types of libraries. Like the public library's access may be different from an academic library's, especially if that college or university has a business school. Let's click on VLIS Current Issue, which will bring up a list of company reports released during the current week, from last Friday to present time. Okay, so in each column, you'll see there's the company name, its ticker symbol, safety, financial strength rating, and timeliness. These columns are sortable by clicking on the column header. So first, a word about Value Line rankings. Value Line uses a ranking system of 1 through 5. 1 to 2 generally indicating better to best, a number 3 an okay. Some investors consider it to mean a hold, like do nothing. And 4 to 5 an indicator of there being some kind of concern somewhere. Again, these are general indicators, okay? So do your own research, do your own due diligence before making any kind of decision. So here's what these numbers measure. Safety. Safety is a measure of the total risk of a stock relative to each of the other around 1,700 stocks in the Value Line universe. Timeliness. This is a measure of the probable relative price performance over the next 6 to 12 months compared to the same 1,700 or so value line stocks that are in this value line universe. Many value line users are interested in this timeliness ranking. So let's click on timeliness to sort, which will give us the number 1 and number 2 ranked companies first on down as we keep going down to 5. Note over here in the industry column, there may be one or more repeated industry categories. Some users may use this as an indicator of an area that looks to be performing well within that same 6 to 12 month window. Obviously, again, I might say this multiple times, do your own research, do your own due diligence. We are going to take a look at researching industries a little later in this tutorial. All right, so let's click on a company name. We'll just go right from the top, B&G Foods, Inc. On this screen here is the value line report, and each box that you see here on the page, which you can left mouse button drag to reorder, however you'd like to view the page, it's called a module. And here in these modules, you'll see ranks, financial ratings, and the commentary. And commentary is a big part of what Value Line users pay for. It is Value Line's own analyst's narrative. So here in commentary, if you click this little square with the arrows in it, we're going to expand. Okay, so over here on the left, these color-coded boxes indicate how many times and when the rank and ratings have changed within the past year. Sometimes under here, you'll see pinned notes. Looks like a little Post-it note with a push pin through it, which are links to company supplemental reports that I'd mentioned earlier. Those updates occurring within that 13-week period between scheduled reports. We'll X out of this. We'll scroll down to the valuation module box. The figures represented here appear both in regular and in boldface type. Bold figures indicate analyst predictions. So these numbers over here, these are real numbers. These numbers here in bold are possible numbers that may or may not occur in the future. And so scrolling down a little bit further, okay, here we go. This is the other module I'd like to touch on, industry analysis. Let's click down here in industry analysis on the blue read more link. This gives us the industry category name, food processing. Be aware, this isn't a standardized language. So some of the same or similar industries may be called something else in other financial research products. This gives a numerical rank, which is a rank out of the total of 96 industries represented in Value Line. It's then followed by a narrative snapshot of the industry's performance overall, with some mentions of specific companies and types of investors who may wish to investigate further or avoid the sector altogether. On the right, this collection of boxes, it's called a heat map. And if we mouse over explain, here on the heat map, it gives a description of what this is. It's a relative strength heat map. This is the relative price strength of a stock compared to the Value Line composite. The relative strength value is shown on mouse over. The stocks in the top left have the highest relative strength. The stocks in the lower right have the lowest strength. The size of the rectangle represents the company's market capitalization. Speaking of industries, and I said that we'd touch on this, let's get into browsing industry analysis reports. All right, so let's X out of this window. We can scroll back to the top. And again here, just the amount of information presented in the modules on a report, I mean, there's a lot here, obviously too much to go over right now. So again, this is a lot for you to investigate and research further. We'll get into some educational tools in part 2. That will get into some greater detail on how or what these modules mean and how to use them. Okay. So let's go to Browse Research. Click up top here. Down here where it says Industry Screens, let's click Select Screen. This will drop down the list of value line industries. So we can click on a industry category name to bring up a list of companies, and then this list can be sorted by column, just as we did earlier while viewing the VLIS current issue. All right, so we were in food processing. And there we go. A complete list of the company's value line includes in this industry. Like I said, it's sortable. Click on timeliness. And there we go. And then finally, if you're used to the print version of Value Line and you like that interface best, let's bring up this report page again. We clicked on B&G Foods. On the report page, let me close all this. Up here on the right where it says PDF reports, by clicking this, it will bring up the traditional Value Line report, which you can download or print. And there's the same report that you'd see if you were used to coming into the library and pulling the Value Line, the green binders off the shelf and looking for the reports yourself. So coming up in part 2, there are 2 more areas of Value Line that I'm going to highlight. If you're satisfied with the basics on accessing and viewing reports and you want to dive right in with those, you may stop here and save part 2 for the future. If you're interested in using Value Line to find some more investment ideas and taking advantage of their investment educational resources, please continue on. So for now, thanks for spending your time with me and have fun making some well-informed investment decisions. And that's from me and all of us here at the Saratoga Springs Public Library.